I was exposed to physical violence, persecution, oppression, threats to be killed. I was locked up for 6 months.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicole Barrios, your host, and what you are about to listen to is a clip from an interview from CBC News.
Rahaf, why were people threatening you in Saudi Arabia, and who was locking you up and threatening violence against you?
In the beginning, they locked me up for 6 months because I cut my hair. And that was forbidden. Because looking like a man is forbidden in Islam. But I was mostly exposed to violence by mother and my brother.
From your mother and your brother, violence, were they beating you?
Yes, they were beating me and there was corporal violence. And sometimes I will be bleeding.
The story behind this woman dates back to 4 years ago when she escaped Saudi Arabia and found asylum in Canada. She says in this short clip that she was exposed to physical violence, severely oppressed, and was locked up for 6 months just because she cut her hair. During the summer, I met a woman who lived in a gender-oppressive country. She opened up about all the hardships she experienced and how difficult it was to come to the US and acclimate. Today, we currently have 178 countries that are still limiting women's rights. Here are a few examples. According to an article by the BBC, Saudi Arabia, in recent years, has eased restrictions on traveling without a male guardian. Afghanistan is a country that refuses to make improvements in women's freedom. An Associated Press article written this year states that the Taliban is increasing their restrictions on women. In addition, the law strictly states that women are only allowed to leave home for urgent matters, and when they do leave, they must wear a veil. In recent news, we know that famous soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo has signed to a Saudi Arabia team for $200 million a year, bringing over his girlfriend and mother of his children, Georgina. Since they are not married, concerns have been raised on their living conditions. In Saudi Arabian law, a woman who is not married is not allowed to live with her significant other. However, Ronaldo created his own mini-constitution in order for Georgina to live with him. This created controversy as their status gave them this privilege, and many found it unfair that women who do not have this status are suffering under Saudi law. Now, the land of freedom shouldn't be exempt from this. We all know about the United States' history of the women's suffrage movement. Women in the United States fought for their right to vote, and it took nearly 100 years for their fight to be over. We need to bring to light the continued occurrences of women's oppression in our own country. Women today are still not equally paid. According to an APWU article, women still make just 78 cents for every dollar earned by men in the United States. While it was a huge deal when our first female vice president was elected, we still have not elected a female president. While many other countries have already had women presidents, such as Africa, Portugal, Argentina, and so many more, we can argue that the US is not as progressive in that aspect. Now, what can we do to fix this current systemic issue? I want to talk about Lois Frankel, who is a United States representative for Florida's 22nd Congressional District. In March of this year, she introduced a resolution for equal pay with fellow representatives Rosa DeLauro, Teresa Lagar Fernandez, and Nikema Williams. Instead of just believing it and dismissing it, we must support these representatives because they are taking action. Organizations such as the Association for Women's Rights and Development, AWID, UN Women, and Global Fund for Women take donations, and volunteers to assist in women's rights initiatives. I can provide links to all organizations so that you listeners can easily access them and take action.